Welcome to the CEO Bros Podcast, After Hours, with Brian Baldoff, co-founded, grew, and sold BHT Studios. Brad Baldoff, CEO and co-founder of By Your Side Autism Therapy Services. Matt Croak, the consummate entertainer, jack of all trades, and serves as our host.
Chicago became large. That's how they thought the exposition was going to go to Philadelphia. That was like it was a big upset.
They actually thought they had a football team too.
They thought.
Going to do it with what looks like a blitz. Now they walk out of it. Hartenstein is oh wow, what a blindside shot.
Until Hartenstein took out Jaworski in the back. We probably should get on with our podcast.
Well, are we?
We're underway.
Hey,
cheers!
Oh,
cheers, Brian.
we're
Where's your
underway?
drink? Brian, do you have a drink?
I always
Brian,
have a drink.
we're talking about. We're talking about.
We weren't talking about Hartenstein.
Are we
not-
fighting?
Oh yeah.
Go ahead. Are we fighting?
Are we arguing? No, I.
Because the
agree with
topic is
everything
what?
Brad
What's the
says.
topic?
I agree with everything Brad says.
Come on, stop.
Welcome to. Go ahead.
Go on, Matt. There's you feel the friction? There's friction now.
We are talking about departmental friction. Was that the official?
No, it's business. It's friction in business. It's
But
friction.
productive friction. Creative
Productive.
friction.
Well, is it healthy or is it unhealthy? See,
Well, there's both,
See the
though.
friction that's starting right now.
Right. But
Can you
there's
feel
both
it? Can you
kinds
sense
of
it? Can you
friction.
cut it
There's
with a
not
knife?
one or the other.
What are you talking about?
There's bad friction and there's good friction.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Just like there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol.
Kind of.
I wouldn't use that as the analogy, but okay. No, but I mean,
Pass another cookie.
no. What we were talking about is in the business environment. There's a lot. The best way to put it is that if a company is on the successful path or on a path of it's on the right path, and everybody knows their part. We're all in the same boat, right? But everybody's got different objectives, and sometimes those objectives don't necessarily align in the same time frame, in the same route that you're supposed to get there, and that causes a friction between departments. And what I was talking to Brian about the other day is I'm like, that's actually very healthy, though. I actually encourage
We have another podcast where we talk about stuff like this.
Really?
talk about you outside the podcast.
No, we
talk
don't
about-
talk outside of the podcast.
But like healthy friction, right? Is like, here, I'll give you a great example, and we can go off of this. Is like a classic healthy friction or example would be like sales and legal, right?
Okay.
Where a
or
contract
sales and marketing,
Sales
or
and-
sales and operations, or sales and customer service.
yeah, okay, yeah, sales and everybody.
So
everybody.
So clearly, from your experience, sales is.
Yeah.
No, but like
But it's in a good friction. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, but
go ahead with the legal one. That's
sales looking to get a deal done.
Yeah.
Who's slowing me down? I mean, that's the simplest way to put it. But there's other friction that can occur in businesses. Like take for example in By Your Side, where we have compliance with operations objectives.
compliance.
Yeah.
That's all. It's a synonym for friction. Compliance.
But I mean, if you want to just
Especially if we're a medical facility. So the
yeah,
HIPAA
sure,
and like, hey,
yeah.
marketing, everything's got to be.
We can't say that.
So the reason why it's important is I actually encourage it in the business environments that I've been in, is that I encourage healthy friction to occur, because it truly, in my mind, it like if you've got two departments or two divisions of a company and they're both trying to accomplish something in their own little silo. They're trying to accomplish it. And, I got to meet these objectives. I got to hit these KPIs. I got to get there. And over here, you got this group that's trying to protect the company or trying to stay in compliance or trying to defend it. You want a lot of pride to be taking place in both those respective department leaders to get to where you want to get to, because it just shows they care, and it shows that they're trying to get after their specific objectives. But that does create friction. And that to me is something that I think is healthy in a business. Right. I mean, we talked about on the sales side. There's a lot of areas in sales that will create like a buildup or a potential friction point. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because you got to acknowledge these things are going to happen. Because if you don't, you could think there's something's wrong with the business, and there's nothing wrong with the business.
And all kidding aside, you said sales 5 times, and then when he said sales, you started to laugh again. So stories, anecdotes, what are you seeing?
Well, like Brad said, salespeople are very one-track mind, close the deal. Anything that gets in the way of closing the deal is bad. Whereas the rest of the company is out to protect the company. Like, customer service knows that if this deal isn't structured well, they're going to have to deal with angry customers. They're going to have to deal with calls. Legal's going to have to deal with the lawsuits. Accounting's going to have to deal with delayed payments and debt collection. So that's where I think the productive friction comes in. Is like, okay, sales, we do want to help you make the sale, but let's make everybody's life a lot easier. Let's include this clause, or let's make sure they understand this, or let's make sure we do this first. And so, but I think part of Brad's point is a lot of people in your personal life, friction's bad. And so you try to avoid it.
Yeah, it sounds like a bad word, but.
So I think some entrepreneurs and young CEOs try to avoid friction and eliminate friction in their company. And how do I make everything copacetic and okay and everybody gets along? And in reality, there's a lot of situations where it's actually creating a better solution when people are butting heads and challenging each other. And there's even another level, which is competing with each other. Like you mentioned, we used to have one of the companies I was at, regions, and the CEO was famous for playing the regions off each other to see who had the best numbers this month or this quarter. And for us at corporate, it just created all kinds of friction. Because Michigan wanted this and Illinois wanted that, and who got the limited resources and.
No, I think you summarized it really well, Brian. Is that there's a lot of, when you hear the word friction, you right away think of, well, that's bad.
Yeah.
Like, how could that possibly be good? And I've actually had a lot of one-off conversations and conversations with multiple leaders in a room, and I'm going to say, guys, I'm actually encouraging it. I actually think it's good because, as I mentioned, it means that each department is driving towards an objective, and they have a lot of pride in achieving that objective.
Some passion, some skin in the game.
Yeah, they're excited about what they're going after. They have maybe a productivity metrics, or they have KPIs they're pursuing, and they take a lot of pride in achieving those. And then they see anything that could potentially stop that or derail those things as bad, enemy, wrong, at fault. And they, a lot of times, unless you take the time as a leader to say, well, hang on a second, that is going to happen. It should expect that to happen. And it's okay if it happens. That's, I think, the key thing I'm driving through this. And for a lot of young leaders that are out there, where you think, well, I want a copacetic environment. I want everything to work hunky-dory, and I want it to be really smooth, and everybody loves each other. It's like, no. I would actually encourage you to promote a healthy friction among certain departments or aspects of your business to a point where, it depends on how competitive you are. I actually am a very competitive guy, and I like drumming up the competition. That could be a whole nother episode, but it's actually really important that people realize that that's part of the business, and you're going to deal with it. And the better you deal with it, the more successful the company will come.
Right, because the bad cholesterol or bad friction is when people start to get personal.
Use my analogy.
Yeah, it's a good,
It's good what I said.
It's not applicable, but it's easy.
Well, that's fine.
Is when people get personal and dig in their heels, and it becomes a unproductive fight and name calling, and and it's just a complete stalemate. Nothing gets done. Like a donkey and an elephant who are supposed to run the largest organization on earth and can't do it, and so everything grinds to a halt. That kind of analogy.
That's way better than cholesterol. So you talked earlier about sales. For your situation as CEO, do you tend to say, hey, sales, push the limits, like let's see them run and watch everyone else? Or do you rein them back a little bit and go, sales, you got to, I know you mentioned kind of saying, can we do this? How did you allow that naturally to be competitive without it turning into the name calling and something toxic.
So it's funny. I admitted this. I always pushed sales to push as hard as they could.
Go around, go through, go over, go under, but make it happen.
I knew in the end I would have to deal with the consequences.
Well, you got to become the judge. You got to become the judge and jury of that, because what'll happen is, to Brian's point, I'm interrupted. It's so interesting because you push a sales organization and you say, look, we've talked about, we need this revenue, we need these customers, we got to get this done, we got this contract to get over the, go through walls, go over, go under, get this done, and then that's going to result on the flip side where you're going to be approached by legal counsel and they're going to say, okay, we know we need to get this done, but we also got to protect A, B, C, D, E, and F, and you're not helping us when we're doing that. So,
especially when the salesperson goes, well, Brian said, it's like, well, I said do whatever you could. I didn't say do something illegal.
You said steamroll those sons of bitches and roll right through.
That is the worst. You literally said, I said do whatever you can. I didn't say do something. Well, you kind of did say do. You said do anything you can, which suggests
I had something in my eye.
That suggests illegal, because that's anything you can.
It's a last resort. Yeah. No, so I always leaned on sales to test the bounds of what was possible, because I knew also at the same time I encouraged the operations side of the business to be very creative in solutions, be very flexible, don't be this is the way we do things. You can't, we can't do it different for this customer. It's like, well, can't we? Can we? And so I would sit with them and, try to help them come up with a solution that then would make everybody happy. And then everybody gets credit for closing the deal. You got to include everybody in it at the end.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a good point. So restate that point.
Yeah, you can't.
When all is said and done.
Yeah, everybody gets credit for being part of the solution. It's not like sales won. We were right, we won. It's like, no. Yeah. Customer service figured out, they changed some things. They were flexible. They made some accommodations. Granted, sales had a given on one thing, but everybody was part of the solution here.
No, that's a really good point, because I was going to say the takeaway of a session around this isn't necessarily that, hey, Brad, if you're trying to give somebody a takeaway, what is it? It's not that someone wins and loses. It's the idea that the entire team has to understand that the other team members that are involved have objectives as well, and you have to. The sooner you can, it's all about communication too. If the team understands that, look, there's 4 or 5 different departments involved in this potential transaction, and each one of those isn't coherently working together. I mean, in the outcome. I mean, the outcome is we want to get it done, but meaning they're going to all get there in a different way, and they got to accomplish different things, and it's not going to all align perfectly. And as long as everybody understands that up front, the sooner that the entire team understands it, the sooner the outcome is it's realized, because so many people are like, he's stopping this, she won't let this happen. It's like, well, guys, do we understand what we're trying to get done here? We're trying to get done a quick deal, an effective deal, a profitable deal, a compliant deal, and a legally satisfying deal. Mm-hmm. We have to get all of those check marks done in order for this to be successful. If we get 3 out of the 5, it's a failure. So can we all just understand that that's what we got to get done as our objective? And I just don't think that there's a lot of people out there that take the time to ensure that everybody is on the same page with that. Because if they're not, it could create a lot of negative friction.
Right. That's a whole nother episode. Friction.
It sounds like it's a natural way to avoid complacency too within departments. Well, we've always done it this way. We always done, and someone's always pushing and saying, well, we're going to push the boundaries a little bit, and every department kind of has to challenge what they thought.
That's not a bad perspective on it, because if everybody just goes along, nothing ever changes. Right. Nothing ever different. The other place that I always saw it was with me personally, because we'd be reviewing plans or a project or something, and I'd say, well, I think this. We've talked about this before, and they would go, okay, well, we'll do that. And be like, well, no, don't just roll over. Like, that was just me thinking. Challenge me. And I think, some people were pretty candid, and they go, well, why bother challenging you? You're the CEO. You're going to make the end decision. And if that's what you think, let's cut to the chase. I'd be like,
You're
well,
right. All right, then. Hey, well, I guess
that
we
was
can wrap
very
this.
wise.
Like it's this 20-minute thing about don't do that, and they're like, all right, well, we're still doing it my way though, just so you know.
Well, that was part 2 of it. I would say no, challenge me. I'm taking my CEO hat off. I'm just Brian Baldiff here. Like, fight back. We've talked about be passionate. Do your homework, whatever. But I was also apparently stubborn because I wouldn't listen to an argument and just go, oh, well, you know what? That's a great point. You're right. I would push back and challenge them, and it would go on. I would let that friction go longer than most people, I think.
And I think it's healthy. Because the other thing is, it kind of goes back with, I told my own team members, I say, hey, I'm like, I don't want yes people around me, because if you're just yesing me, then it's like, then we're not really gonna get anything.
Then I
really
can just get a mirror.
Well, right. If everybody's just gonna say yes, and I said, now there's a difference between if you feel passionate about this, provide a good fight, provide a good argument. I'll hear it out, even if it gets animated, even if it gets spirited, and trust me, I will. Hey, trust me with that. No, but I mean, the reality is like, no, be spirited, fight the good fight, because I got to know how passionate you feel about this, because some people are like, hey, this is what I want to do. No, okay. And they go away. It's like, seriously?
Right. That's the no friction approach.
Yeah. I mean, so friction can occur in between departments. It can occur between supervisee and supervisor. And I think part of promoting healthy friction is communicating up front. Hey, I encourage healthy friction, meaning I appreciate if you disagree with me, like, let me know, let me have it. Let's have it out thoughtfully, professionally, but let's discuss it. And because a lot of times healthy friction will lead to innovation. It'll lead to more successful outcomes. And I think people are just afraid of it. They're afraid of it. I say embrace it, encourage it, and then communicate a plan around it. Like, hey, I encourage it. So if you feel that strongly about it, bring it to me and let's argue it out, because it's good. That's good for the business.
I'll tell you, the most enjoyable place to ever see it, where it's raised to an art form, is when you've got a salesperson who's willing to accept friction with a client. And I also used to encourage that too, because, it's so easy to just give the client what they asked for, even though it's not the best solution, as opposed to risking the sale and saying, well, given what you told me you want to accomplish, have you thought about maybe doing it this way instead and changing the way you do your accounting or something? I mean, 90% of salespeople would never say something like that, because in their mind, like, well, I'm going to kill the deal. But if you've done your homework and if you've done your discovery and you understand what they're really trying to accomplish, that solidifies a deal better than anything. Because they'll be like, you know what? The last 3 idiots just came in here and said, yeah, whatever you want, here's our price. You're the only one who really understood what we're trying to accomplish and pushed back and said, hey, there's other ways to accomplish this. That's why we came to you in the first place. You're the experts on this.
It goes back to solution selling, where we talked about what's successful when you're solution selling, when you're actually creating another way for the client to actually think about how this can be done. Do you have discipline? Do you have patience? Have you done your homework? Have you done your due diligence to approach the client and not just go, I have a product, you want to buy it? It's like, no, like, dig into what they are trying to accomplish and saying, have you thought about this? And so that's healthy friction to even another level, because you're disrupting a sale that's potential, that could just happen very easily, but you're actually trying to take one step beyond that to let the client know, like, this isn't a one-time deal on a sale. Yeah. This is actually something where I want a long-term relationship with you, so that every time you make a decision related to any products or services I offer, I got to go talk to Brad about this, because he's got some thoughtful ideas. He's not just trying to sell me something. He's got some really good ideas.
He's not just going to take an order and just do whatever I say, whether he knows it's good or not.
Well, I see that in client relations at the Autism Center. You have the parent who knows the child better than anyone else.
Yep, perfect.
And you have the therapist who knows what they do better than anyone else. And I always tell, the secret sauce is each needs to be pushed and listened to at the same time, right? The parent needs to hear what the therapist is suggesting. Right. And the therapist needs to hear what the parent is saying about their child. And that healthy friction, it really does move the needle on progress.
It's another good example. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, so I look, I don't think this is a topic that we need to beat up too much. I do think that from our standpoint,
I thought Brad was trying to send a message to us about our last CEO Bros meeting. Like, look, guys, you can disagree all you want.
I science it.
I spend more time with you too.
I just think the takeaway for the viewers in a shorter episode here on CEO Bros would be that when you think of the term friction, when you think of disagreement, it doesn't have to constitute negativity. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. It could be a positive thing. In fact, it is a positive thing if it's thoughtfully promoted and encouraged and communicated to your respective team members. So
Yeah, it's something to be managed, not avoided.
yes,
Just because it sounds like something to be avoided.
Well, one thing we all agree on with no friction is hit that subscribe button.
we do agree with that.
Follow us on social media. Send us an email.
We do
appreciate
agree
your
that I have no
support.
drink. I
We
gotta go get a drink.
appreciate you
Oh,
spreading
that's
the
why it
word.
was such a short episode.
We will see you
Brad.
next time.
I'm out.
He was out.
Yes.
Till next
Cheers.
time.
Until
See ya.
next time.